Welcome back to the Road Show this morning. This morning in the Buzz, eliminating recess. The East Providence School District says they're doing away with that activity in exchange for a program that they say will keep kids more physically fit. So starting at the beginning of the school year, the 10 minutes of recess before lunch and after lunch will no longer exist. Instead, the school district says they are teaming up with the YMCA to create a beefed-up physical education program which will keep students active even without recess. They also say teachers can give their students a break from lessons to refocus and stretch. But as you might imagine, some parents are not too happy about the plan. Take a look.
I think it's terrible. The kids should be able to play out in the playground. That is exercise. That's running around, enjoying themselves, taking a break from it all.
That's not a good thing. That's horrible for the kids. They need time to get out of school and exercise, run around.
All right, so what do you guys think?
Here's what I think. First off, as adults, you work an 8 or 9 hour day, but you know, as an adult, you take time, you go to get a coffee, you can step out of the office without it being a big...
I'll stop you right now. I disagree. I'm serious. I think this is emblematic of the fact that, I mean, even in this office, I see so many people who don't even get a lunch break, and I think it's trickling down. How much more can we pack in? How much more can we do? Not giving people a chance to recharge their creative batteries, from adults all the way down to kids.
That's what I'm thinking.
Ridiculous.
With kids, I mean, just think of the attention span that children have. And
just think of the attention span you have.
Exactly.
Like
I'm a child. But a day is like, a school day is like 6 or 7 hours long. I mean, when I had recess, it was 15 minutes. It got you outside. It got you some fresh air. I love the fact.
Burning off energy.
Exactly. I love the fact that their new plan they're going to implement is gearing it towards getting kids in shape, because kids nowadays are in terrible shape.
Everywhere.
Kids are in terrible shape, so I think that's very important. But to keep a kid recharged and to keep him, focused on stuff that he's not interested in.
And to have good behavior and not be acting out in class.
Yeah, you need that 15 minutes. Let him go outside and relax.
What would you do if they did this at your kid's school?
Well, I know my son gets very upset when he comes home from school some days. He goes, "Dad, somebody acted up in class, and so-and-so took away our recess." I think that kids, I think once you get, obviously you get past whatever it is, 4th, 5th grade, I think if you have phys ed class 4 days a week, I'm okay. Recess is a little different then, because recess, unfortunately, when I was in high school, became, when you got older, was run into a place called the pit to try and crank in a few heaters before you went back into class. And the smoking thing and all that stuff, obviously that's not allowed at school anymore. But I think the kids need to have at least 15 to 20 minutes of unstructured, just let it go, because they just, I go and spy on my son at recess sometimes, just to make sure he's having a good time, check on him. And it's just like, it's anarchy, it's controlled anarchy. If they just run around having a good time, not worrying about anything, then they go back in and they get focused again.
Yeah, and they're using their imagination, they're doing creative things, they're making up pretend games, pretend languges, they're building bonds between each other. I mean, there are critical things that are going on.
They're not lined up, they're not doing things that are structured. And the other thing too is, sorry to interrupt, but phys ed sometimes, and he tells me, like, "Dad, we didn't have phys ed today. They made us watch a movie."
Right.
And a lot of times, for one reason or another, who knows, substitute teacher, weather, who knows what, that phys ed becomes more of just a sit down and do something. But you have to do it. Whereas recess is just like, woo-hoo, and just let it go.
I think this is the reason that we don't have arts, that adults don't have lunch breaks. I know certainly in this newsroom there are people who work right through what's supposed to be a lunch break. I think this is why we don't have arts in schools. I think this is why we have started closing sports out of schools, because we've decided that there is a certain amount of time, we have to cram a certain amount in, and if you're doing something that's extracurricular or outside of the curriculum, it is not beneficial and it's not moving you forward, and it is such a reverse thinking process. It's exactly the reverse, I think, of what kids need.
Yeah, I just think a 6 or 7 hour day for a 5 or 6 or 7 year old to not have 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, you need that to recharge the battery.
I'm curious what our viewers are saying, but Melissa, I will say this in playing, devil's advocate and on the side of the superintendent, there is an extreme frustration with the childhood obesity epidemic, and you can kind of understand why he wants, why the superintendent of these schools would want kids to be doing something that would be perceived as more beneficial.
Yes, I do understand the idea behind it all. I mean, keep the kids active, keep the kids healthy. But I do think that recess, they need that time to just be free, forget about everything, and then they can go on and be more productive later on throughout the day. But let's head on over to the live blog right now and see what some of our bloggers have to say this morning. Smokey Wolf says, I'm in favor of having recess. It's the only way kids can kick back a little and enjoy their school day. And Joe says, I think it's a wonderful idea. The children are at school to learn, not to play. And Linda Flynn says kids need the recess, especially smaller students. Give them a break. And in case you're just joining us this morning, I posted today's Buzz Poll question on foxprovidence.com. It's right under the live blog on the right-hand side of your screen. And today we're asking, do you agree with the decision to eliminate recess in East Providence? Your choices are A, yes, the gym class will keep kids active, or B, no, kids need to let loose during recess. And our friends on Facebook are weighing in this morning. Teresa Meyer says, with the U.S. having one of the highest obesity rates in the world, I think it's a great idea. And Wesley says the attention span of children is far less than that of us adults. If you want the children to learn, you need to allow them to recharge their batteries. And Diana says, I'm an East Providence resident, and I'm very upset that my children will no longer have recess this year. They need to get out and play in an unstructured environment. So a lot of comments from our bloggers this morning, and I guess time will tell to see how everybody feels about the new changes. I'll be back at the end of the show with your web poll results, but for now,